Alright, I'm going to talk about something I don't often, I've never spoken about on here, I should say. And I'll talk to a person here and there about stocking up and how to stock. I am now getting into coupons and of actually teaching, helping my sister set it. She set up a little club through her job. Well, it's not exactly through her job, but where we meet once a month and we're teaching other people how to use coupons to build up their own personal stockpile for non-perishable and perishable goods. A lot of people are admonishing people to get gold, but is collecting gold and silver the only way to prepare for the hard times that are coming? And make no doubt about it, they've been preparing everybody for what's to come for the last few years. They've been telling you, hey, y'all get ready for $5, $6, $10 gallon gas. But most people have, by and large, ignored it and gone on and continuously buy their weave, which for some people is dependent on the petroleum products to make it. A lot of your weaves, unless it's human hair, are dependent on petroleum products to make that crap and other synthetic things to make that crap. And just getting back and forth to work is costing more and more every day. And to be perfectly honest, most people are unable to afford $1,300 per ounce for gold. But there are ways you can do, because at this particular point with people losing their jobs left and right, I know a lot of those people, now I'm not talking about the auto workers, but the people who depended on the auto workers buying and using their services, they were making the low end of everything. And then when Toyota and all these other companies went begging to the government and laid off thousands upon thousands of people, a lot of those towns went dead. But how could they have best protected themselves? The best way they could have protected themselves is by getting silver and gold. Another way is by stocking up on non-perishable and perishable items, learning how to can, so that you're not dependent on the freezer all the time. When I say non-perishable, I'm talking about stuff like shampoo, toothpaste, toilet paper, things you take for granted now, but things get really, really bad, they will be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than gold and silver. And so you can use them, though, those items, to trade for additional bullets, for your weapons that you should have. Everyone should have a weapon. Or if you have the means and have the knowledge to create your own bullets, you can just, get the kit and you can make your own bullets, but you still need the raw materials in order to do it. Now, that's where gold and silver is going to come in handy, but you need to get that together now. But the silver and gold can also help you. Like I said, if you lose your job, you can sell that silver and gold, and you can pay your mortgage or your rent. You can stock up on the food you failed to stock up on when it was cheaper, or can have a rotating stockpile going. And you can get your head about the sand thinking everything's going to be fine, it's going to return to normal. First of all, black folks, Obama didn't promise you nothing. He didn't promise you a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out. Only thing he promised was change. And I said that before on my other account, before it got closed. Now, my thing is that the people are failing to stock up on food that they know how to prepare and that they will eat, because they believe that they can just use their weapons to take the food they want. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't it stand to reason that people who are earnestly stocking up will also have weapons and other security means to be able to kill you should you decide that I want to take what is mine instead of how can I trade with this person? What do I have of value that this person might have so that I can get some food from them? Um, and also, what if, and they've been trying to get this going too, there is some kind of plague that they purposely set up in specific areas, whether it's false or real, it does not matter. And they quarantine everyone to their homes. What are you gonna do? That means when I say quarantine, they prevent deliveries from coming into a particular area. They prevent shop owners from opening up their stores, managers and stuff from opening up the stores. And you're down to a week's worth of food and they got everybody quarantined for 6 weeks. What are you gonna do? Nothing but sit there and go hungry. Or go to a quarantine station where you can get food or eat the MREs that they give you, that they dump at your doorstep, which somebody could easily steal before you even get. Then what will you do? If you live in an area where, like, the Gulf Coast, Florida, and the East Coast, where you have to deal with a hurricane, if not the direct blow of the hurricane, the storms from the hurricane, which sometimes is just as damaging as the storm itself. You are without electricity. What are you going to do then? Most people don't think about that. It's funny seeing people rush out their houses to buy goods and clear the shelves off because most stores only have 3 days worth of food at any given time. Another thing is preserving your fruits, vegetables, meat, stuff that's on sale at that time. Because as you know, with all this turmoil this created turmoil, gas prices are going to go up. But until people balk and the economy fails more than they anticipated, then they'll slow it down a bit to get people acclimated to it. Okay? Because it might be too much of a free fall for a lot of people. They are, I've stated before on my other site I used to have, they are dismantling this society. They're dismantling America. That's all they're doing. And it's something that should have been anticipated years ago. Go ahead and start a garden while you still can before they officially implement the laws that will prevent you from having your own garden, which they are trying to do. And then what are you going to do? Do they need you to be totally dependent? All right. Now, when they do come and collect people, they're going to come and collect those in the most desperate and dire situations. Generally the sick and those who have no food left. It usually takes about 5 days before FEMA or any military will get there. And that's enough time minimum to at least be able to hold yourself up. And if you can have a few weeks or months worth of food where you don't have food and water, where you don't have to leave your house, most of the decrepits are going to be leaving the area if they don't think anyone's there. See, here's the thing. The main places they're going to go looking for food first are the grocery stores that are going to be locked and boarded. And then they're also going to go to the houses that appear empty. and they're going to take what's in there. Um, and then they're going to leave the area as quickly as possible to go and see if they can find greener pastures. These are generally going to be men who are the lowest of the low to begin with. Um, so you have to be willing, everyone's talking about all these weapons. You have to be willing to use them and not bat an eye. Are you? Because you don't want to tell everybody everything you have. Also, learn how to can. Pressure cans. Pressure canning is the best thing you can do as far as preserving meat. Water bath canning is great for high acid foods like lemons, oranges, pickling products. But for low acid foods like beans, and while dried beans are good, they do take an awful lot of water to process, to cook up, several hours. Whereas if I have that stuff canned up and even flavored the way I like it, that right there will cut down a lot on cooking time, and it'll cut down a lot on the need for excess water, because water will one day become a premium. Um, like I said, things are not going to happen quickly. They're going to happen gradually. It's going to be a free fall, and then you're going to land, and they're going to let you get acclimated to that altitude. Then they're going to fall again, and then land and let you. That's what they've been doing for the last 40 years. But no one has seen that. Really, I'm sorry, make that the last 120 years. Actually, longer than that. Longer than that. Um, but do you really understand how the fall of Rome, we are in Rome, going to happen? Or are you just going to think, or are you going to keep your head in the sand thinking, oh, everything's going to get better, the shops are coming back? They're not coming back. Not the way you think. It's not going to get better. It's going to continuously get worse. And we as black people are now in the worst position we have ever been in. Ever. We are more vulnerable than we were at any time in history. We're more vulnerable than we were even on the ship, and people don't see it. They've already got a lot of people quartered off in these newer subdivisions, and they're still racially divided. And they got them quartered off in these projects and apartments and everything. You're easy prey. All they have to do is cut your road off. There's usually one way in, one way out. What are you going to do? They can't necessarily make you leave your house unless there's a gas leak. Then they can force you out. But for a quarantine or certain natural disaster, they can't force you out. They can recommend, and they're going to try to force you out. But right now, you still have some ability to protect yourself. Maybe I'll come back and talk a little bit more on how I'm preparing for myself to help myself. Something I wish I had learned years ago, which would have helped during job loss and all those other things.